Hey guys, welcome back to the Clinical Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Earl, and today's episode is another short episode. I just want to give valuable information directly to your inbox or wherever you are listening to your podcasts. We're really trying to grow and expand within the private practice sector, and so we really appreciate the feedback that we've received from our listeners and our audience. And we're aiming to just return the favor by giving valuable information on a regular, more consistent basis. And the question came up based off of a recent email that I put out in regards to spending money. And I enjoy the concept and the topic of money. I've enjoyed studying spending habits and the economy and consumer price index and all of these things in regards to money and the economy. And so that led me down the rabbit trail to study a man named Milton Friedman. And I have become a huge fan of his. He has, since passed away, but he's been an economic advisor to many presidents in the past. And there's a famous clip of him where he shares the 4 different ways that you can spend money. And I thought I'd share that with you today, a brief synopsis of Milton Friedman's 4 ways of spending money. Coincidentally, we're going to talk about one of them. We're going to highlight all 4 of them, but there's one in particular as this year comes to a close, I want to highlight and share with you as well. So if you're ready, let's dive in. The first way of spending money is spending your money on yourself, in which case you are very cautious about the quality of the item that you're purchasing or the service that you're purchasing, and also the quantity. You don't want to spend too much, but you also, maybe don't want to spend too little, and don't want to get something that's too cheap and flimsy and you have to buy it again. So the quantity and the quality are of utmost importance when you're shopping for yourself or when you're spending money on yourself. Okay. The second one is spending your money on someone else, as in buying a gift for someone, in which case the quality does matter because you want to represent your gift giving to your friend or your family or your coworker. You want to accurately represent your views of them, and you don't want to give a cheap, physically cheap and flimsy product. But however, you are very conscious of the amount. And also just envision going out to dinner with someone and you agree to pay for them. In essence, you're agreeing to pay double whatever your plan was to spend on yourself, because you are gifting the other person a meal. So quantity does matter. All right. Now, the third one is when you spend someone else's money on yourself. And I'll never forget when I was a kid at a baseball game and my brother asked my dad for $10 to go get a hot dog or a burger, and he came back with just a few coins, so implying he spent $9 and some change. And my dad didn't quite appreciate that my brother had spent almost all of the $10 that he gave him to just go buy what he thought was just a hot dog. I think it was either a hot dog or a burger. And but that's a classic example of spending someone else's money on yourself. And parents give their children money all the time, and the children don't really care about the quantity. They just care about the quality. They're going to go buy something for themselves, but the number doesn't matter because it didn't come from them. It cost them nothing because it cost somebody else something. And the fourth type is spending someone else's money on someone else. And if you really do think about it, and again, Milton Friedman was a big economist, and this is in essence government spending. Government takes money in from the citizens, the tax-paying citizens, and then it creates government programs and it funds itself or it funds government-backed programs. So in essence, it becomes a welfare state. It takes all of the revenue, and there was record revenue collected from, and you can look this up on the government's own websites and reporting, where they have produced record amount of tax revenue in 2020, 2021, and 2022. But yet the government still spends more than it earns, because, well, actually the government doesn't earn anything. It doesn't create anything. The government actually just takes from its citizens via taxation. So they are still in a deficit. They've increased the deficit on a regular basis, including this year and last year. The deficit continues to rise. And that is because they're spending more of someone else's money, i.e., you and me, the taxpayers, and spending on themselves and spending on other people. So that's an example of really a combination of 3 and 4. But the one that I really want to talk to you about today is method number 3, or spending money number 3. And this comes in the form of CEUs. And if you are an employer, you might cringe at what I'm about to say. And if you are an employee or you work for an entity that offers you a stipend, I want to encourage you to use that stipend by the end of the year on your education. I know a lot of companies have a part of your contract in your employment compensation package to spend a certain amount of money on your educational recertification or your relicensure needs. I offer that to my employees. And so I want to encourage you guys to check out our website and to spend your boss's money on a class that's actually high quality, that will directly translate to your clinical practice, and that will actually improve who you are as a clinician, so that you can go back to your clinic, your private practice, and you can then improve your patient outcomes with a class that's not useless. It's a class that you will directly be able to apply to your clinical practice right away. Because nobody wants to just clock into CEUs and clock out and just waste a Saturday. You want to actually take a class that you can use and you can implement in your clinical practice. All right, guys, I appreciate it. That's it for today. Bye.